right. Welcome to the Child Life Programming Panel. To moderate and begin, we have the world-renowned child life specialist, Morgan Livingstone, who has been working so hard over the last 3 days downstairs, also with her husband, with Aunt Hester, and with some volunteers, with Panelists Kids, and lots of volunteers in our incredibly successful child life program. So, welcome, Morgan.
Hey, everybody. It's a joy to be here, not downstairs playing my heart out. But I will say, at the end of One Retinoblastoma World, the children and I will have played for 30 hours over 3 days. Yeah, that is remarkable. And today was such an incredible day where the children designed their own prosthetic eyes using model magic clay. And we started it in the morning, and I thought it would be over, in 30 minutes. They're still designing eyes. It is just so remarkable when you bring together a multi-age group of children with different experiences with retinoblastoma and let them spend time together playing. The medical play has brought tears to my eyes. The sharing and the caring and the bonding and the new friendships. It's really, there is nowhere else in the world that we've done this. Just our One Retinoblastoma World and the CRAB program in Toronto has been able to really facilitate this with help from the Canadian Retinoblastoma Society. So it's really our group that's done this incredible, joyful, and amazing experience. So I thank all of you for always being such great supporters and for bringing your children and your patients and your friends and your family. I love it. Thank you all. We are going to get started on a really interesting discussion about child life and some amazing friends from Starlight in Australia. But before, we also wanted to honor an incredibly important part of our retinoblastoma family who passed away this year, Lisa Hester. Are we able to put up the slide?
Yes. All right, Lori and I are going to kind of do this together for obvious reasons and moral support. As you might have heard on the first day, Lisa Hester came into the lives of We See Hope for the first time in 2017 in Washington, D.C. at the One World Conference. She had emailed us the week before the conference just saying, "Hi, I'm a mom. I'm coming out from California. If you would like any help with anything, put me to work." So we did. She came in and stuffed goodie bags, and 24 hours later, she met us with her One World shirt on at 5:30 in the morning, and we put her in charge of check-in after barely knowing her. And that is the type of human being that Lisa was. Her light and her spirit were absolutely infectious. It's very hard to use these past tense words, so I'm going to switch to the present tense. She was a passionate advocate for child life. She worked with Morgan to learn coping mechanisms and techniques for her son, Elijah, who is now 9. And she watched over the months and years how implementing the techniques that she learned from Morgan vastly improved his experiences at doctor's appointments. And when going under anesthesia a few months ago, she posted basically a tribute to Morgan, talking about how far Elijah had come at a recent doctor's appointment, and that he basically just was able to put his arm out and have his IV or his blood draw with no tears and no fighting or no just complications. And that was the first time that had ever happened, because he was using the skills he learned by himself without having mom coaching him. And that was a huge step. in his survivorship journey and kind of his growth. Lisa joined the board in 2018 and was basically our cheerleader. She would cheerlead. We actually called her, we should have been her, not board of directors, but like cheerleader. It should have been her actual title. It's unbelievable that she's no longer here with us. The entire Hester, all 8 of the children and Lisa were scheduled to come to Hawaii, and the younger ones were going to be participating in Child Life, including Elijah, and the older ones were going to volunteer in Child Life with Morgan. And so there just is a gaping hole in this room. But Lisa would absolutely want us to be laughing and smiling and seeing the love in this room, the hugs, the tears, the growth, the Child Life program. She would be blown away by the Child Life program downstairs. And in honoring Lisa's spirit and honoring Lisa's memory, we need to keep moving forward and doing exactly what we've been doing over the last 3 days, learning from each other, working together, and experiencing this huge sense of family. Lori, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, sure. They're kind of showing some of the pictures.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about
Yeah,
those,
so
or-
we've put together a few photos from some of our events, as well as an audio quote from a mom in Southern California that knew Lisa, and also a video. So if we can go ahead and kind of start clicking through, and Lori will explain what these photos are.
The first photo was in D.C., so that was Clay and Marissa and Lisa standing in front of the Washington Monument. And then I think the next photo was Kristen and Marissa and Lisa at one of your SoCal days, I think. Yeah, can you go to the next photo? Yeah, that one. Yeah, the 3 of them. And then that was in 2022. And then you can go to the next one. This was 2023, this SoCal day in, it looks like Kristen and Marissa and Lisa again, right? And then this is also at that's Lisa and I think her son. Yeah. One thing I want you to notice is she is smiling in every single picture. Like, no matter what was going on in her life, she was making sure that everyone else was happy and smiling. Go ahead and go to the next one. This is Lisa and her kids on the 2023 Southern California RB Day.
From Heather Fox Busquets, a Southern California mom. I remember the day I met Lisa in the waiting room at C.H.L.A. She was holding baby Elijah and had her eldest daughter with her. I had my toddler, Helena, on my lap. She told me that she also had a daughter that was Helena's age, as well as 4 more children. She had 7 at that time. She had just received Elijah's diagnosis, and, as typical Lisa, she was a bright, shining light. Her kindness was infectious, and I knew I wanted to have a friendship with her. I shared with her that I was flying to New York to MSKCC monthly for IAC. She contacted MSKCC and started traveling there also. Over the years, we exchanged stories and updates about the Ronald McDonald House in New York. I remember I initially sent her my packing list of paper towels, bath soap, etc. Over the years, I continued to email with her. She was a wonderful writer and started a blog about being a mom of a child in cancer treatments, as well as a mom to her other children. Her homeschool tales, each child's birthday celebration, as well as the hard times, like when she had back pain or when Elijah's appointments in New York didn't go as smoothly as hoped. I looked forward to reading her stories, and was simply amazed that this woman found time in her hectic schedule to focus on her writing. I was so happy to see her at the Arby picnic in SoCal over the years. She always treated you like you were the most important person in the room. I still can't make sense of her death and why this beautiful woman had to leave us. I know her legacy will live on in her children and her husband. Until we meet again, Lisa.
Can we pause it for a second? I just wanted to point out Elijah's in the Star Wars shirt, if anybody in this photo. Okay.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hester, and I'm on the board for World Eye Cancer Hope. Today we're hosting a Retinoblastoma Family Day so that families can connect and learn and encourage each other. We want to invite you to our One RB World Conference in Hawaii. If you can come, this is an incredible opportunity to hear from medical professionals, meet other families, and have a really great time.
Lisa is here with us in spirit, and she would be so proud of this meeting. If you're interested in supporting the Hester family, we have a QR code for their GoFundMe page in the program, and we also have a QR code for the Lisa Hester Memorial Child Life Fund as well, because Lisa was so passionate about the impact that Child Life had on Elijah and their entire family. World Eye Cancer Hope has created a memorial fund and has dedicated the Child Life program at this year's 1RB World to Lisa's memory. We love you, Lisa, and we miss you.
Thanks, you guys. We appreciate it.
Okay, if we're going to honor this incredible person, I will say that Lisa is an honorary child life specialist. My first slide is to talk about that she was indeed a huge believer in child life and very committed to learning the strategies that would help her son survive and thrive and do what he needs to do within his coping plan in his retinoblastoma experience to be and feel successful through all his appointments. Here is a wonderful example of her commitment to child life in a special infant massage training session that I was able to host at Marissa's many years ago. And Lisa and her daughter Emma came to learn how to teach families with retinoblastoma the benefits of infant massage as a coping tool as well as a comfort measure and a way of really promoting healthy attachment between parents and babies even when there is a medical emergency like retinoblastoma. So this is a great picture. Jessie was actually our stunt mom, Jessie Berry. She was pregnant with her first. So we really had a great time with Lisa participating. And I was really quite thankful for her commitment to child life and to see how Elijah thrived in learning what he needed to get through his appointments and to advocate for what he needed himself so confidently this spring was really a joy for all of us in the retinoblastoma world to see how he knew what he needed and he asked for it. So again, I'm just so thankful for her commitment to helping even our youngest retinoblastoma families. I am going to show at the beginning of my talk a very old video. I wanted to get started by showing you this because this is an incredible world of medicine with such tremendous growth and innovation and achievement. But the only area that I seem to find that continually is lacking in innovation and funding is child life, specifically child life supports for children with retinoblastoma. It is something that we know that we need, but we still struggle always to ensure that children not only survive their cancer and the painful treatments that they need to control, to remove, to get rid of this horrible cancer in their eyes, but it is through the provision of child life play, the education, the preparation, the procedural support, and play, just general play that really promotes that sense of mastery and coping that helps children survive and thrive beyond their illness and become the whole self that they need to be, even when experiencing painful cancer treatments. So this short video is called The Little Clock, and it was made many decades ago by a child life colleague of mine named Mary Barkey. She's one of our founding child life specialists in the world of child life who created the comfort positions that we use to help patients go through painful procedures in as comfortable and as supported position as possible. In this short video, the lyrics of the little song describe how the big clock of the hospital, all of us medical practitioners and the medical team, always comes before the little clock of the child, the patient. And I want you to listen closely to the lyrics in this song, because when we push aside the child's little clock for our big clock, our treatment and our important schedule, we are forgetting that those activities, those play-based experiences that kids need to survive and thrive through their medical treatments really should be respected. So hopefully this will play and we can get started. So listen closely to the lyrics.
You've got a big clock, I've got a little clock too. Your clock's for your time, your big clock pushes you. When you're in a hurry, my little clock's pushed aside. You make me use your clock, you don't care about my clock size. When your clock is ticking and everything changes, you haven't got time to explain. I have to use your time, you push me and pull me, and it never enters your brain that you've got a big clock, I've got a little clock too. My clock's for my time, your clock's time is up to you. Your clock's important, it's bigger, it makes more noise. But my clock's important, though you think it's just a toy. You're only trying to help me feel better, at least that's what you say. But I feel angry, I don't feel better when my little clock's treated this way. Oh, you've got a big clock, I've got a little clock too. I listen to your clock, please listen to my little clock too. I've only got a little time, do you have a little time? A little time on your big clock, that's all I want from you.
That movie was made in the 80s, and I still think it stands now. I'm so sad that children's clocks are usually not respected in the hospital. And I wish we would think about their little clock a little bit more, including just play for play's sake. So let's take a look at the role of child life and why that little clock and the play that comes with a child's little clock is so important. First, let's take a look. This powerful video, of course, needs our attention. I do think that we push children's clocks aside, and if it's not a code blue or someone's phone buzzing, there's always another distraction that's drawing us away from that child's little clock and the ability to just spend 5 minutes playing with them. This is a statement from the Association for Child Life. The goal of a certified child life specialist is to reduce the stress and anxiety children and families experience related to the healthcare and hospitalization experience, of course. Child life specialists are experts in child development. They promote effective coping through education, preparation, support during procedures, and most importantly, play. Some of our play is very purposeful play, and it is really about the medical experience. And other times, play is just for play's sake. But I know that for the families that we work with, the cancer experience is everywhere and it's all the time. When they're kissing their child on the head before bed, they're not just showing them affection. They're checking if there's a fever and if they'll have to rush to the emergency department. They're always wondering and worrying of what's happening for their child, even on days when they're not in treatment. You can't stop experiencing or thinking about that. So I want to always remember that although no one dies if there's no child life, a little part of the child dies every time we do something without support, without focusing on the child themselves in that experience. Sadly, this is a statement that I was recently faced with by a colleague of mine. I was preparing for this trip and I was so worried about being away from my patients while I'm here. And the pediatrician looked at me and said, well, it's not like anyone dies if there's no child life. But I think you all know that a piece of the child dies every time we do something without preparation, without support, without respect, without play, without distraction, because we can just do it. We can just hold them down, or we can just get it done. But if we do it with child life involved, that child will retain that part of themselves. If we can provide non-pharmacological pain management strategies by blowing bubbles, isn't it worth it to have the bubbles there, guys? So child life specialists do provide that invaluable bridge between the medical treatments and the respect and the unique internal life and that little clock of every child we see. This is a preview of my poster for PSYOP, where I am sharing the benefits of these wonderful multi-age group child life programs that we offer at World Eye Cancer Hope, in our One Retinoblastoma World programs, at CRAB, and at the Canadian Retinoblastoma Society. I'd really like to respond to that statement that each time a procedure is done, we absolutely can make it better in some way to help that child survive, thrive, and cope through that experience. You know, without the magic of child life, many kids wouldn't be able to do what they need to do to cope. Elijah wouldn't be able to stand up and say, I need the freeze spray, and I'd like to have a distraction while I'm having my blood drawn. Thank you very much. So here we have a wonderful 9 photos of children doing medical play in our special multi-age groups. Starting in the top left corner is my friend Lincoln doing eye drops for his medical play doll, Sunny. In the middle, we have a very handsome gentleman dressed in his doctor's coat, and he's actually practicing our specially created construction and creation MRI, where we listen to MRI sounds and we practice laying still. Next, we have a young sibling of a retinoblastoma patient in Kenya who was actually talking about his experience and his feelings and fears about what happens when his brother's eye had to be removed. Start back on the left side again in the middle, we have 2 young boys with retinoblastoma playing with our medical play doll, Kevin, in Kenya. And you can see they've got their scrubs on, their doctor's coats, and they're managing and manipulating that eye. In the center, we have our little friend Audrey in Washington. Marissa will remember her very well. She's only 11 months old in this picture, and her parents were fearful of the medical play. But the first thing she did was explore that sedation mask, that one that was required for all those frequent examinations under anesthesia. And does she look scared there, guys? No. She's doing what an infant does, which is pick up a toy and taste it and feel it and bang it, because she's deciding, is it a friend or a foe? And that's what children do at this age and stage of development. Their play is still valuable. Their play, especially medical play, helps them understand and cope with something that they now see regularly in their medical experience. So Audrey was able to show her parents through her play that this was allowing her a sense of mastery over the sedation mask that she needed to have so frequently. Next one is a group of 3 young girls. Some are retinoblastoma patients and some are siblings. And they've created a giant cardboard eye in front of our crab poster at one of our crab sessions. And then back in the lower left corner, we have our very handsome little friend in his suit, a retinoblastoma patient in Kenya who'd had both eyes enucleated. My middle is my handsome friend from Toronto with a surgical cap on, and he's playing with some tongue depressors, working on, of course, mastering and exploring all of the material. And then the last lower right corner is a picture of another handsome friend. We do a race when we play with prosthetics in our child life programs to see who can use the suction cup and place the prosthetic eyes on the special circles fastest. And he won. So he was just demonstrating and gloating because I lost. But in these pictures, you can see that there's no distress. There's just this wonderful bliss of exploring and experiencing the medical play in a safe and non-threatening way. And that's been going on downstairs in these 30 hours this week, guys, every day, constantly playing and exploring. They have opened, my goodness, guys, opened every single pack of alcohol swabs I have downstairs. They have used every tongue depressor. They have wrapped themselves in tubing for sedation masks, oxygen masks, but all of it without fear. You know, the giant syringes that I bring, they're just fun and playful, and the kids explore, and that's the job of play. All right, so what if we changed our thinking, guys? What if here at World Eye Cancer Hopes, One Retinoblastoma World, we all decided that child life is as important as medicine?
It is.
It is.
What if we changed? It's relatively inexpensive, guys. It's literally the cost of one certified child life specialist. One certified child life specialist for retinoblastoma patients. That's all we need, guys. I wish I could start an auction. Any takers?
There are the welcome raffle next time.
There are no side effects to child life. Zero, except the occasional fart toy and maybe a giggling episode. And for those of you that giggle too hard, maybe a little bit of pee. But possible outcomes include joy, fun, coping, and smiling, and having a blast. And guess what, guys? What if the patients looked forward to coming to clinic? What if, because they were so excited to play, that they wanted to come, create, and have fun every time they came to clinic? And when they got their eyes examined and had their visits to the operating room for their examinations under anesthesia, what if they were confident, comfortable, and ready to play? That would be different, wouldn't it? Could you imagine if they were actually excited to come to clinic because they knew they'd get to play and do fun things and see their friends? That's you guys. That's this medical team. You could be that awesome. And child life can help sprinkle a little bit of that magic on top of you. So the impact of child life, we've even explored during the pandemic, guys. It can happen virtually with children all around the world. It can focus on feelings. It can focus on silly stuff and fun, like creating our own distraction posters from afar. In these pictures, these children are not just in North America. They're in India, they're in Africa, they're in Europe, they're in many different places. And when we finally have our in-person playtimes, you can see that the kids come out. We had 35 children registered for our child life program here in Hawaii. And so many children played and played and played. Some would come and some would go, but most of them have stayed the entire 10 hours every day, guys. It's amazing. But all of these things, sedation, intravenous, eye drops, these are very high potential for stress for children. But in the time that I've been working in retinoblastoma, which is a really long time now, even though I feel like I'm extremely young, I have to say I've been working with retinoblastoma patients for 24 years, which is amazing because I'm like 25. But I certainly feel that way. But through this explorative play and the types of novel child life experiences that we're able to offer children, you know, these children are really surviving and thriving. There's that picture of Audrey exploring that sedation mask. There's a picture of my friend Juan Pablo practicing IVs and blood pressures and all the things that he experiences when he comes in for his examination under anesthesia. And then finally, again, Lincoln, who really struggled with eye drops. We know sometimes those very simple procedures that we think are minimally invasive and really not a problem can actually be the most high stress potential for these kids. But one thing that we don't do enough is realize that when we teach our children how to walk, when we teach our children how to hold a spoon, when we teach our children how to talk and sing the ABCs, we practice all the time. But we don't practice coping. It's like we expect that children should know how to cope. They're new to the world, guys. I have news for you. They don't know how to cope unless we teach them. And by exploring the medical play and by learning coping techniques from you, adults, in their lives, they can learn to cope better with the medical experience. But we must practice it every day. When I'm teaching children how to take pills for complex medications that they absolutely need to take, we play. We have fun. We use crazy straws. We use different types of Fruit Loops and fruit roll-ups to cover their pills. We have fun, and we learn to do something very serious, like taking medication. But we need to do that in retinoblastoma too, guys. We need to help infants be sensitized to the fact that people are going to touch their face a lot. Around their eyes, around their nose and mouth for those examinations under anesthesia. And these are simple things we can do, but we have to remember that kids don't learn just by being told to do something. We have to practice it. So if you want your child to be toilet trained, I'm betting to reduce the messes, you're gonna practice with them, right? If you want your children to cope and your patients in your clinics to cope, you need to teach them how to cope. And it's usually quite individual, so explore all of it. Do those bubbles and deep breathing. Practice the distraction. Use those cold freeze sprays if that's what they need to be and feel successful. There are many parents here I know that have applied the strategies that they use for their own coping with their children. And that's how we do it, guys. They need it often and they need it regularly in order to learn and to master something. So back to my handsome friend here. All of these things that children experience during their retinoblastoma health care can be practiced. Blood collection, IV fluids and medications, eye exams when they're awake, blood pressure, eye drops, diagnostic imaging, CT and MRI. Guys, there is not a refrigerator box I have not met that children don't love getting in and practicing the MRI and CT scan experience. And I do this almost every month with my patients. We just have fun and we practice. And maybe some staff also enjoy their lunches listening to podcasts, laying inside the giant MRI we've made out of cardboard. But it's something that is filled with play and coping. It is an absolute joy for me to do that. Practice, letting children practice on their stuffed animals, letting them practice with you. And what we've seen here in the Child Life program is a lot of practice this week. So play for play's sake is also really essential. I think sometimes we forget that when children have a very serious life-threatening illness like cancer, that we forget how important just playing for play's sake is. So you can see on these little friends' faces here, guys, in our most recent crab experience, that they are playing. Some are exploring medical stuff, some are exploring sensory and coping tools. These are stress balls and fidgets and things like that that you see in the far left or right side for you. And there's a Playmobil station here of the surgery and the OR experience that a little friend is exploring with his fingers for the first time. I want to talk about one particular friend and use it as an example because this is my little boyfriend Tice. He lives in a very remote and rural part of Canada called Saskatchewan, very far away in a farming town. And he receives his treatment by flying into Calgary. And he met me at a Calgary Canadian Retinoblastoma Society Family Day. His treatment is also delivered in Toronto, so this family flies from Saskatchewan to Calgary for their regular appointments, and then if he needs extensive treatment, he's also flown all the way to Toronto. Tice is one of my amazing friends who just, when we met at the Calgary CRBS Family Day, he just clicked with that medical play, guys. He was a teeny tiny toddler in a teeny tiny white coat, and he thrived in this medical play experience. He was so little. He was still having active treatment. We didn't know what the extent of his treatment would be, but we knew that he needed support So when he flew into Toronto, this is my friend in his hotel room. I meet with him in his hotel room, and we play and we play and we play. And you can see he's not just doing medical play with me, dressed as his doctor self on his big bed with my patient puppets, but he's also exploring the body and the side effects and the different things in his body that might be affected by his treatment. He's done a fabulous job of putting together my Mr. Boney puzzle and all the organs that fit inside. But he loves and benefits greatly from medical play. And he's done such a great job, guys, that now he's able to do the one thing that was the most challenging for him, which, although he's no longer in active treatment, he has a very difficult time with his prosthetic eyes and taking out the eye and experiencing that period of time where the ocularist needs to work on it. So we practiced the coping strategies, the comfort positions, and everything he needed, including the sensory information, to promote his success in the ocularist office. And I have a video to show you of his first successful removal of his eye with his mom's support.
Here we go, let's do it. You ready?
We're ready.
See the
Here we
comfort
go, really
position
gentle.
she has him in, not
Big,
holding
big,
him
big.
down.
That's it. Wow, wow, Hester. 1, 2, 3, here it comes. Awesome, that was so good. Great. Yeah,
we're gonna get
now
the
we
new
put
one.
the new one in. Here it comes.
See how she
Put it
strokes
back
his
on in.
hands?
Go really gentle. I'm just gonna slide it back in. You're doing amazing. That's it, halfway there. Now just the bottom, I'm gonna be all done. 1, 2, done. Wow. Look at you. Can you sort of say,
Can you look
thumbs
at the
up?
video and say
Thumbs up?
thumbs up?
the video?
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Okay, that is a proud moment, guys. He practiced hard. Notice how that comfort position does not contain him. He feels supported and loved, but he's not contained. She strokes his hands when he has that moment of hesitation. And do you hear how Matt, his ocularist, is doing a countdown for him? Halfway there. Okay, we're almost done. 3, 2, 1, done. Those are all the things that Tice needs to hear to be and feel successful in that experience, and he did it, guys. After lots of hard work and practice, he was able to do that with no distress. And that's what I envision we could be doing for families. So I have a few encouraging phrases that I want you to remember. You have to give honest and realistic choices. You may sit on mommy's lap or you may sit on the chair. That's the only choice you can give. They're going to be sitting somewhere. Would you like to sit on mom or would you like to sit on the chair? It's time for eye drops, not do you want your eye drops? Because I think, Clay, would you say yes? I think most of us would be like, no thanks, I pass. But I want you to think about what you're saying and why you're saying it, because if it isn't a choice, don't give them a choice. Don't minimize the experience. There are many colleagues of mine who make the mistake of saying, it's not a big deal, or this is fine, it doesn't even hurt. Don't dismiss their feeling, focus on it. You know, give them a chance to validate those feelings. So focus on staying really still, buddy, and blow bubbles, not you need to stay still for a few seconds. So a lot of the time when we say things like blow bubbles, children are really good at pretending, guys. Blowing bubbles mimics deep breathing, and it just gives them a focus. So if you can give them a task, and it's a purposeful task, that deep breathing task, that's what we want. Preparation really does improve coping, guys, and consider this. Age, coping style, parental anxiety, diagnosis variables, developmental level, temperament, the number of invasive procedures a child may have had, and previous healthcare experiences all add up to how a child is going to cope. And these are all things that influence their coping. So all of these can be improved with child life supports if they're provided. There are many different coping styles you can see here. I've listed avoidant, which is the kids that want to look away, and vigilant, which are the kids that need to watch everything that's happening, and that's okay. Many nurses I work with try to tell a child not to watch when their blood is being drawn, but this might be a vigilant child that needs to know everything that's happening so that they know every step of the process, and that's okay. We just have to see what the child needs and wants. I want us to always think about avoiding certain things like lying. Instead, share simple, developmentally appropriate information. Tell them, some kids describe this as, and you can sometimes say pressure or hot. They describe this as cool. Depending on the procedure, you can explain things in a sensory way. You also want to reassure them. So you heard Matt, the ocularist, talk about that, reassurance about when the procedure will be over. So instead, you want to continue to give the child a role and engage in conversation or diversional activities. So see how Matt did that halfway there, and then the countdown. He is giving him a focus, something to rely on. Saying what you don't want them to do. Instead, share what you would like them to do. Your job is to sit on mommy's lap, and she's gonna stroke your hands while we take this prosthetic out. Give them a task like sing me the ABCs. Apologizing. I don't know if any of you have apologized, but when you have to do a procedure, it's not great to apologize. This is something that's absolutely necessary for the child's treatment, so there's no need, even though it might be difficult, when you're working with a child who's in distress or upset or uncomfortable, you have a responsibility to treat them. So validate their feelings instead by saying, wow, that was really hard, but you did it. You can do hard things, bud. This is amazing. Thank you so much. So I'm asking all of you, and I know Marissa is preaching to the choir too, but this commitment to preparation and coping is Child Life plus the team. This medical team and the child life specialists and the families, we all need to work together. It really should start at diagnosis. And by that, I mean if there's an infant that's diagnosed with retinoblastoma, just because they can't have a conversation with a child life specialist about coping strategies doesn't mean we can't provide coping strategies for that baby. We absolutely can. And I know that if we help the whole family, the parents, the siblings, the extended family understand how to better support this young individual with retinoblastoma, change will come. Play helps even the youngest babies. We offer play daily, and I think that encouraging families to explore this as an option, there's a lot online, certainly on the World Eye Cancer Hope website, but there's almost always a child life specialist in the hospitals that your children are being treated in. They may or may not be an expert in child life, but you can ask for support. And I really want us to have more child life. There's a wonderful image here that's just an explanation of what a child life specialist does. Support during procedures, therapeutic play activities, medical play, parent education and support, support for brothers and sisters, and medical preparation and pre-surgery. All of these things are wonderful ways that we can provide support to children. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for staying at the end of all of this incredible learning from the kids and I. Thank you so much for listening. And I have some wonderful news, guys. We have new guests that we have to introduce. Starlight.
Oh, it's me. I'm up. Sorry.
Ding.
Could I have?
Thanks, guys.
I'll just wait for my slides to come up, but while I do, I'm going to start with the words of Maya Angelou. Do what you can until you know better. And when you know better, do better. In 2012, I travelled to North America to discover everything I needed to know about retinoblastoma in some of the best treatment centres across Canada and the US. And what I came back with was I needed a child life therapist for my patients. And I got a child life therapist. And it's interesting that everything I tried to do to make things better seemed to take forever. But it wasn't that hard to get a child life therapist. But what I want to talk to you about is the recent implementation and addition of the Starlight captains to what I consider to be our child life program for my retinoblastoma patients. In 2022, Sam Valavanis is one of my RB patients. He's now a 22-year-old retinoblastoma survivor, asked me to participate to make a documentary to raise money for the Starlight Foundation. He and his family wanted to give back to the organisation that supported them during Sam's diagnosis, treatment and beyond. And during the making of the documentary, I was reminded of the impact Starlight captains can have on a child's hospital experience. So the question I raised was, can I bring the Starlight captains to our children with RB as they waited for their regular examination under anaesthetic? With lots of support from the Starlight Foundation, Claire Treadgold, the National Manager of Research and Evaluation, Andrea Fulano, the local program manager at the Royal Children's Hospital, and the infectious enthusiasm of their captains, by November 2022, and I think I had this conversation with Sam in about September, Starlight captains descended from planet Starlight to support our children with RB. Although we have had and continue to have input from child life therapists, Starlight captains are the intervention you have when you're not having an intervention. As trained actors and performers, for the first time there was joy in the waiting room. There was laughter and there was music and there was fun. And for a short while, we could all forget where we were, even me. I never thought I would see the day a child would run to the door of the waiting room, not to escape, but to greet our fabulous Starlight captains. The impact of the support provided by Captains on Call in Queensland in the context of children specifically with retinoblastoma was recently published, and I'm happy to arrange for this to be shared through We See Hope. It is now my great pleasure to introduce Captain Pelican and Captain Cool, who will tell their story all the way from planet Starlight.
In a galaxy far, far away,
It's actually in this galaxy.
is a planet full of heroes. They are Captain Starlight.
Starlight.
And their home base, planet Starlight.
Yay!
In their purple and yellow uniforms, they travel across the galaxy in their red rocket ship all the way to Earth.
Woohoo!
Home planet to the cheekiest,
The
silliest,
silliest.
and the bravest beings in existence, human children.
Human kids. Oh, they're the bravest.
And the captains, they land, they play, and bust boredom in hospitals all day. Some may speculate, are they real?
Yeah, of course they are.
Do Captain Starlights really walk among us?
Hello, I'm over here.
How do they fly a rocket ship?
Look.
Do they need a license for that?
Look, they can see us now.
Hi everyone, I'm Captain Starlight.
And I'm also Captain Starlight.
But that's confusing. Let's use our nicknames.
Oh, great idea. My name's Captain Pelican.
And I'm Captain Cool.
We're so excited to be here wearing our official Captain Starlight uniform. A purple shirt with a bright yellow X shape that spans across the chest, and a super cool cape that's silver on the back and purple underneath. We also wear silver and purple cuffs on our wrists.
And you'll never find us without our silver and purple hat. It has a yellow-rimmed, purple-filled star right in the centre, and within that star is the yellow silhouette of a child reaching for the brightest star in the sky.
The story goes that if you place your thumb on that star, then where your pinky is will point the way to planet Starlight, where we are right now.
Talking to you down on Earth. Oh, how cool is Earth?
Oh, we are so lucky to blast down to Melbourne, Australia every day to visit the Royal Children's Hospital.
We get to meet so many cool people on Earth, and one of those extra special people is Dr. Sandra.
2 years ago, she invited our Captains on Call team, an existing team of Captain Starlights that uniquely supports specialised clinics, to play with the kids who visit the retinoblastoma clinic monthly. Although this initiative exists in other Starlight programs around the country, this was a new adventure for Captain Starlight at RCH, so we were a little nervous at first.
But that didn't deter us. We knew how important this could be in bringing some positive disruption into a space that's usually big and scary, especially for these little people. But we were determined to change that.
With our existing expertise and support from Dr. Sandra, we started to subtly shift the focus from scary eye drops and procedures to building train tracks and feeding pretend birdseed to a parrot puppet.
For Captain Starlight, no 2 days are the same, and especially for the retinoblastoma clinic.
We blast down from planet Starlight on our red rocket ship. We land on the roof of the hospital and engage the invisibility cloak. No more pesky parking fines.
And at 9:30 a.m, the Starlight Express room opens, and it's time for the captains to climb to level 3 and create some chaos.
Not too much chaos.
The perfect amount of chaos!
The space we visit is a large room with 6 individual waiting bays.
We roll in and we get to say hello to the coolest people on planet Earth.
The kids. Some days we all play together, and other days it's a quiet cuddle with mum or dad and a lullaby from Captain Starlight.
Throughout the 4 or so hours we spend at the clinic, there are inevitable challenges to overcome.
For the kids, moving into a treatment room to receive necessary eye drops can be painful and scary.
And it's really important to both us and Dr. Sandra that we remain separate from those moments so that we can provide a consistent and safe refuge for the children.
When they finish, they no longer return to a mere waiting space, but a play space.
Where we're waiting to turn those frowns upside down.
Then, after hours of play
and a pre-med,
the kids are usually relaxed and calm when the time comes for them to go into theatre.
With a final song and a wave goodbye, we go our separate ways for now, knowing we'll see each other again next month.
We've come such a long way since our very first visit to the clinic. It was a typical Wednesday. We entered the clinic bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
In our very first interaction, we happened to meet a little boy with a tear-stained face and a mum and dad distressed by his distress.
For Captain Starlight, this isn't a rare sight, so we instinctively moved toward him, and after introducing ourselves and officially meeting Luke, we offered them a song, and I've got a light brown ukulele right here. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight.
Upon finishing our song, Luke's tears of distress had dried up and Dad's tears of relief had begun. But he wasn't the only one. As we stood and turned around, we were met with a sight I think will be etched into both of our minds forever.
Unbeknownst to us, Dr. Sandra, along with the entire medical team, had gathered behind us. They were visibly moved, with some even brimming with tears whilst watching Luke's demeanour drastically transform.
We realised in this moment just how impactful the presence of Captain Starlight would be in this space, and even more so when we later learned that Luke's prior visits to the clinic had been laden with stress and anxiety. They'd never seen him so calm in hospital.
And what's more, it just so happened that that song, In the Jungle, was the song that Luke's grandmother would sing to Luke's father when he was a child. An incredibly special moment in more ways than one.
And fast forward to now, 2 years later, Luke's a different child.
Oh, he is bold.
He's playful.
He's resilient.
And brave.
And the same goes for the other children in this clinic that we've gotten to know and grow with over the last 2 years. The change has been drastic. Initially, following eye drops, the time it took to stop the flow of tears and return to play was significant.
But now, these troopers take mere moments to sit in the feeling, regulate and recover. And then back to play it is.
And boy, do they play. We've had the absolute pleasure of witnessing these children slowly opening up to us, along with other children in the clinic.
By empowering them through play, we've provided an opportunity to interact and connect with other kids just like them, hungry for play and self-expression while simultaneously navigating a profound medical journey.
As a core team of superheroes from outer space, we've established trust and familiarity with the kids and their families, and we've discovered what they like.
We use our superpowers on a moment-to-moment basis to read the room. We know what they need, when they need it, and how to provide a sense of equilibrium in a variety of situations, no matter how precarious.
Now, Captain Starlight is an integral part of the retinoblastoma team, a familiar face. If the nurses need to scan an ID tag, but the child isn't entirely on board...
Oh, I'll get my ID tag scanned first. And it'll turn me into a chicken!
Oh my gosh!
Or if the anaesthetist needs support while putting the child to sleep,
we'll accompany them on the ukulele with a lullaby, providing an anxiety-free transition to sleep. And then I'll turn into a chicken! If Dr. Sandra needs the children to be familiar with particular images so she can test their vision...
Oh, we'll create fun and colourful cue cards out of those images and incorporate them into our play. Where we all turn into chickens!
The presence of Captain Starlight has introduced a sense of community, transforming an extremely clinical pre-surgery ward once divided by curtains and individual beds into a communal space with completely unlimited play potential.
And the space has completely transformed. Nurses often remark that the sound of laughter is a breath of fresh air, a sound that was seldom heard in this clinic prior to Captain Starlight.
The Retinoblastoma Clinic can be a scary place for a young child to be, but with Captain Starlight, there is a refuge, a distraction, and an intergalactic yellow and purple friend ready for play.
Play? Oh, let's go play! Oh, yes!
do it!
I'm gonna be a chicken.
Of course, anyone can access Planet Starlight and beyond, and you can follow the link on the screen, www.starlight.org.au/about-us, what we do, Captain Starlight, or scan the QR code. And I'd just like to take this moment to thank Morgan for teaching me everything I know, which still is not enough, about child life, procedural anxiety, and changing and reframing that to procedural comfort in ophthalmology. And I'd like you all to know that I'm working very, very hard with my colleague peers in ophthalmology to recognise the importance of child life and the impact that we as healthcare providers can actually make in this space and mitigate the stress and distress that I've come to know I have inflicted on children who are now adults, and I still inflict, and I just keep trying to do better. Thank you. I'm proud of you, man.
Is there any questions anyone has other than the fact that we're all hopefully having a very joyful moment because that kind of fun really changes things?
I just want to say thank you. You're doing such an incredible job. Joe and I went downstairs earlier to see if Charlotte wanted to spend an hour with Mom and Dad, and she said, nope, I'm staying right here with my friends. She'd rather be in that room for the 30 hours than anywhere else. So you've done an amazing job, and I thank you so much for providing everything that you've done.
Thank you.
I'm going to try to hold it together. I just had a moment because my very first memory is being wheeled away from my parents. There was no ukulele. And I just wonder how things could, I'm just so happy that it's different. Like, I got wheeled away and there was a really bright light, and that's all I remember from my early childhood. And the fact that there's a ukulele, right? Like, with the fact that we're thinking about these things, and it pays for itself because there's a lifetime of therapy ahead if you do not think about these things. And there's a lifetime of struggling with bodily autonomy and feeling like things are done to you that you have no control over. And so it absolutely is 100% worth it to do this for our kids. And I just thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yes. Right? Like ukulele playing and turning into chickens. Doesn't everybody want to do that, guys? I certainly do.
So, folks, can I just introduce to you, I've got Andrea Fulano. I don't know my lefts and rights at all, those of you who know me well. Andrea's in the white shirt. And then I've got Captain Cool and Captain Pelican. Oh, my God, I got it right. And you know what? I'm so glad that they're online. I really wanted them to actually be here, but, maybe next time. It's my opportunity now to thank them and the other Starlight captains who really understood the task and took on what I was trying to do and improve for our children. And they have just gone above and beyond. And when I asked them to make their video accessible, they took that on as well, better than I did with my own slides. So thank you very much, and I really appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you, Dr. Sandra. And we just say...
I got a salute.
Yeah, it's so special, I think, on behalf of all of us to be a part of this clinic, and I think to provide this positive distraction for kids and to help you and the rest of the team in getting what you need out of the child. And I think it's brought so much to all of us, and we just can't wait to continue working with you. And thank you so much for letting us be a part of this incredible conference. And well done to everybody for all the work that you continue to do to help kids and advocate for them.
Well, I think, Captains, there's one more question. Hold on.
Oh, yay.
I'm Pernille, geneticist from Denmark, and I just want to use the opportunity to say thank you. I have a fly on me. You guys are amazing. I want to invite your captains to Denmark. I think you can come fly to Denmark. It's not far away.
It's a lovely, nice place too.
I'm attacked by a fly up here.
Just around the corner.
Yeah. But I just wanted to share one moment that my youngest daughter, who was volunteering yesterday, and they have an experience for life. My son is 21, a daughter is 19, and then one is 17. And they have been helping in our RB Family Days in Denmark that we started 2 years ago. We had the second one this September. It was all inspired by the One RB World meetings, people getting together. It has been a success for the families and for us that are hosting it in Denmark. And then my daughter came after having volunteered 2 years in a row, taking care of the kids, and she was like, Mom, I think we have to adjust how we're doing it in Denmark, because Morgan, she knows how to do it. I think we have to do more interaction, more medical play, etc. So you're really making an impact also on my children that are still little people. So thank you so much, and thank you so much to Marissa and everyone for organizing this meeting. This is really the RB family. So I think we should give them a hand.
Thank you, though, for the captains for participating, too. That's so much fun. It's great to see so much joy. Another question.
Oh, there's one more. Oh, Grace.
I just wanted to make a comment because I couldn't listen to that. Sandra, your standard of care you've looked after the little clocks for a really long time. I'm one of Sandra's cancer kids.
You're one of the big kids.
And I also was absolutely obsessed with the Starlight Foundation. So I just want to make sure that you know that even 20 years on, you're coming from an above standard level and just adding more and more on. Oh, just got me.
Thanks, Grace. Oh my God, I've got to get off this table.
I know. Yes, we need to finish. Okay.
We're way over.
If there's any other questions anyone has, you can find us out and about. There is one more patient engagement strategies and RB care session. But thank you all for taking the time to listen to our joyful declaration of more child life for RB.
Morgan's the best.
Woo!